And let's talk about Taylor Sheridan because Taylor Sheridan. The big news today has come out that one of the most prolific TV creators over at Paramount is about to leave their channel. They ain't say why, but I got my theories. And we'll get into it. First of all, I did not realize how good looking Taylor Sheridan is. I'm like, oh, he's giving Mr. Rodeo tease. Shout out to all the cowboy types that's out there in the Midwest and the South and things. But anyway, let me stop being a hoe and get into this topic. So now, the prolific Yellowstone and Tulsa King writer and director is expected to jump to NBC Universal, beginning with the film deal that will go into effect next year. The ink on that one is already dry. Sheridan's TV deal with Paramount is not up until the end of 2028. That's allegedly when the president supposed to be leaving. But now he over here recently, I just saw a story of him talking about that he's considering a run for a third term, even though we have laws in place that say that you cannot run more than two terms. But how has that ever stopped him before? The fact of the matter that you have a president of the United States who has created so many more crimes than we can even count in the past 8 months. You really think he's going to actually abide by the rules by the time we get to the end of this term that he's currently in? But anyway, to get back into the tea, he's supposed to jump ship to NBC Universal at the end of 2028 when his contract is up with Paramount. So now Puck, shout out to them, first reported Sheridan's move. A spokesperson at NBCU declined to comment. Now, Sheridan is one of the industry's biggest talents. He created the Yellowstone franchise. And you already know I don't know, y'all probably know about the big drama that transpired between him and Kevin Costner, which caused them to fire him over there and they killed him off. And he's created a multitude of spinoffs. They have 1923 and 1883. He's on, and also shout out to Daniel Sklenar, who was on the one with oh my god, why do I forget? I think it's 1883, the one with Dame Helen Mirren and Han Solo. Why am I forgetting Harrison Ford? I'm like, why am I forgetting his name? But anyway, and Tulsa King, I love Tulsa King. Tulsa King is in his third season right now. He also created Special Ops Linus, which I absolutely love. That's with Nicole Kidman and Zoe Saldana. If you're not checked out the first two seasons, that's all there is so far. Definitely check that show out. And Mayor of Kingstown just started its new season yesterday. So that's if I'm not mistaken, because I think it was like yesterday I was watching Murder from the Dairy, so I didn't even get to watch it yet. But if I'm not mistaken, Mayor of Kingstown just started its new season. So definitely check that show out. I love me some Jeremy Renner. So that's another reason why I love that show. And as stated, he created Yellowstone. So if you happen to teeter over to Paramount and you look at a lot of the streaming shows that's over there, Taylor Sheridan's name is pretty much on everything. So he pretty much is running Paramount. But it makes you kind of wonder because now that they're under Skydance, Skydance only been has only been in charge of Paramount for since August. Why is all of a sudden Taylor Sheridan deciding to jump ship with over to another studio? So they said that Sheridan's next film, however, is an action thriller called FAST. I'm spelling it because it's F.A.S.T. I mean S.T. So I'm saying fast. I'm spelling it out. So yeah, Warner Brothers, that movie is heading out over there. Now they said his NBC Universal deal is expected to be a rich one, which comes as no surprise because if somebody's gonna offer you more money, would I be dumb enough to not take it? Especially when people know my track record and my talents that every show that I've created has pretty much been a hit for another studio. So if another studio comes up to me and is like, "Oh, well, we know your contract is gonna be up in 4 years, and they're gonna give me a bigger contract with much more money attached to develop whatever shows that I want to develop, and I got free reign," you don't think I'm gonna take that deal? And they're gonna leave me alone? And is those shows that I'm creating, is that gonna be specifically for Peacock? Or am I gonna be doing Peacock as well as it's gonna be on like the NBC Universal conglomerates? Like, am I gonna be creating a serialized type show like a Law and Order or a Chicago PD? Like, am I gonna be kind of like the Dick Wolf of and Dick Wolf has his myriad of spinoffs. That's why I'm using him as an example. So am I gonna be creating some like a procedural type thing? But I don't know if Taylor Sheridan will want to kind of go and do that whole situation because you gotta toe the line when you're doing something for NBC. You can't really go there with some of the subject matter that if I got free reign to put it off on Peacock to bring more interest into that channel. Because I do play I am a Peacock watcher, so I don't have like regular TV, cable, whatever. All I do is I have streaming services. Way too many, if you ask me, but I have FOMO. It is what it is. So that's why I'm like, every streaming service that's pretty much legitimate streaming service, I'm pretty much paying for. So they said that, as is typical in these deals, Paramount owns Yellowstone and the other franchises he has created for that company. Still, his programming has become a dramatic backbone of the Paramount Plus streaming platform and will likely continue to be for years to come, given how many active projects he has and a long time frame before he joins NBCU for TV projects. And here's what he said. He said, I spent the first 37 years of my life compromising. This is what he told Hollywood Reporter in a 2023 profile. When I quit acting, I decided that I'm going to tell my stories my way, period. And if you don't want me to tell them, fine. Give them back and I'll find someone who does. Or I won't, and then I'll read them in some fucking, or he said freaking, sorry, dinner theater. But I won't compromise. There is no compromising. And you know what? We need more guys like him. He's like, you know what? I'm not compromising my Christianity for whatever it is, what kind of narrative you want me to put out over here. And I'm thinking that's probably why he's like, you know what? I don't like what's happening over here at Skydance. Before y'all came in, I was given free reign to tell whatever stories I wanted to tell and do what I wanted to do. And I didn't have to compromise my creativity so that way I have to follow behind whatever conservative rules. And I know there could be a stereotype. I don't know where he leans politically, but I know upon appearance, some people think because you wear a cowboy hat and you got these chiseled good looks that you kind of maybe you teeter a little bit on the side of Trump. Not everybody who dresses that way and looks that way or whatever is a Trump supporter. So I don't know where he lies politically. And I don't think he's ever pretty much come out and there's things about him. I don't know. I don't pay attention to Taylor Sheridan's personal life in that way. So I don't know where he leans politically or if based over the subject matter when I watch his shows, if they have like a conservative lean to it. I don't kind of get that when I watch a lot of his shows. So um maybe that's why I think he's leaving is because you know what? He doesn't want to play by the rules of this new regime. And he's like, you know what? They're offering more money over there, NBC Universal. I don't have to deal with a lot of the B. And you already know when it comes down to NBC, as we talked about earlier in the previous story regarding Skydance trying to buy up Warner Brothers Discovery, how they were saying that, yeah, a lot of stuff at NBC Universal, they have SNL, they have a lot of shows over there that pretty much have waste no time going in on Donald Trump. So Paramount, now under CEO Davey Ellison, has made appealing to top talent a priority, inking a long-term deal with South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone, inking a new TV and film deal with the Duffer Brothers and locking in key. And I think they got Duffer Brothers leaving Netflix to go over there because maybe what it was that the Duffer Brothers wants to play in the wheelhouse of getting some of their stuff put on the big screen. And Netflix has been someone who's very much adamant in not releasing their stuff on the big screen. I'm sure it was a whole lot of, they had to do a whole lot of back and forth to even get the finale of Stranger Things to even play in theaters. But Chris Reynolds and them over there are not interested in trying to do theatrical releases, which I don't get because I'm feeling like y'all just throwing away a whole lot of money. And yeah, definitely the Stranger Things fans will want to go to the movies and be in a room with a lot of those fans just so they can watch the finale together. Why not? Like you need to do kind of event stuff. So I think that may have played also a part in the Duffer Brothers leaving so that we can go to another studio and the studios will allow them to be creative in that way, where it's like we can get some of our stuff in the theaters and we can also do the streaming thing. And then Jon Stewart recently came out and said that he's talking to Paramount about extending his time in the host chair for the Comedy Central late night show. So it does seem like and South Park be going in on Donald Trump, and so does Jon Stewart. But I hope they're not going to fully cuck themselves to wanting to be, Donald Trump ass kissers. These, David Ellison, whatever. Because I'm like, first of all, South Park is a ratings powerhouse. It's killing it in the ratings whenever they release their episodes every other week. And then people love the since Jon Stewart came back to the Daily Show, the numbers have been through the roof. So people want that. So to make everything just one sided is just not going to work in regards to money and ratings. But what is, you know, the marketing genius is Donald Trump? No. But anyway, so they said NBCU's entertainment efforts are led by Donna Langley, has also forged a reputation for being talent friendly, poaching talent like Christopher Nolan and Seth Rogen, and inking deals with multi hyphenates like Snoop Dogg. Sh- Excuse me. Now, Sheridan has one-on-one studios, famously shoots in Texas and Montana, and his company, in fact, partnered with Paramount to expand their footprint in Texas earlier this year in a bid to boost production in the state. So he's been out there in Texas doing his thing, making a lot of money for things out there and helping the economy in that sort of way. And like I said before, I like a lot of his shows or whatever. I'm a big fan of Taylor Sheridan. I'm sure this is probably I'm not mad at this move or whatever. It's like as long as we got a couple more years of the shows that he already has over there at Paramount CBS, and he still has the reign under his contract to do whatever he wants to tell, whatever type of story he wants to tell. Let him do that. But he's like, yeah, I'm ready to move on to a different studio who's going to allow me to do different things my way. And so, good luck to you, sir. I'm here for it. So, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Why do you think that Taylor? Do you think this is a good move that Taylor did in regards of leaving Paramount for NBC Universal? Do you think it may have been politically motivated and that sort of thing? That is like, yeah, I don't want to play in the same sandbox with Paramount anymore. I'm ready to move on and do some things with a different studio that's going to let me do what I need to do and do it my way. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.